Hey everybody, hope you are off to a great week and having a great day. We are continuing to look at James, and we'll be looking at the book of James for a few more days yet. Just some great practical application from James. We could pretty much go verse by verse, and we wouldn't get done or tired with looking at James. In chapter 1, in verse 27, James says this. He said, "Religion that is pure and undefiled before God the Father is this: to visit orphans and widows in their affliction, and to keep oneself unstained from the world." Very simple. Religion that is pure and undefiled. And in verse 26, James had talked about the religious person needs to tame their tongue. Otherwise, you're deceiving your heart. And so a lot of people who would say they're religious, some of the problem comes in self-deception. Oh, I'm religious, I do this, I have a great spirit. And yet, what James is telling us is that if you want to be considered that religious person, that spiritual person, then you need to be pure and undefiled before God the Father. That your thoughts need to be pure, your actions need to be pure. You need to be undefiled. You need to be like that offering that would come before God, that lamb without blemish. That's how you have to present yourself. Not as a phony, but that's your real self before the Lord. And then James adds that part of it is you need to visit the orphan and the widow. You need to help those who are in their affliction, he says. Those who are struggling. Can you help? And again, in those days, there were a lot of orphans. But can we help those who are struggling? Can we help the widows? Can we help those who are struggling that we know of in their lives? It's easy to say, oh yeah, I'll pray for you, man. I'll pray for you. When what they need is action. They need food and prayer. Prayer is great. But what are we going to do to help that person? So can we help the orphan? Can we help the widow? Can we help those who are downtrodden? And then he says, and a throw-in, to keep oneself unstained from the world. So we can't let the world lead us in a direction that's not good. Have you ever had a marker in your hand and you're holding it and you're going to write and it slips out of your hand, or you just go to do something and you mark something you didn't want to? Maybe you have beige pants or white pants on and you have a black marker in your hand or a pen and you tell yourself, be careful. And or for me, it's holding coffee and walking and thinking I can walk fast, and all of a sudden the coffee is sloshing around, and then it gets on you, and if you have other kinds of clothes on, it gets on the clothes, and it's like, really? That's kind of the image that we have here. Be unstained from the world. Don't let the world stain you. It's kind of what we read in Malachi 6:8 is Malachi saying, well, what do you want, Lord? Do you really want burnt offerings? Do you want sacrifices? And God says, hey, man, you know what is good? And what does the Lord require of you? But to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God. That's a sign of someone who's unstained, who's pure and undefiled. Do justice. Be about justice. It's not about punishment. Forgiveness still takes place, even in the midst of justice. But to do justice, to love kindness, to walk humbly with your God. Those are marks. Those are character marks that show the world who we are and helps us to love others better. So in whatever you do, however you do it, and I know in our world we can't necessarily visit the orphans and visit the widows and help those in that way. But again, can you call? Can you send a message, a text, an email, a card, whatever you can do to let them know that they are being thought of, that they are loved and cared for? Have a great day. God bless you.